Welcome to Badge Banter, where we feature some amazing stories from our incredible partners about the importance of the photo ID badge as a foundation of an organization's overall security efforts. I'm Lindsay Martin-Nez from Badge Pass, and today we've got a very special guest with us. This is Luke Rettstatt from CloudCard. Luke, thanks so much for being here.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. This is my first podcast ever, so my maiden voyage into the podcasting world. Stay tuned to find out if I fall flat on my face or not.
We'll make it very painless. So Luke, before we kind of dive into our discussion today, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about CloudCard and your remote photo solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So CloudCard is our company. Our product is remote photo, and we deliver quality ID photos using AI. And what we do is we allow the cardholders to submit their photo remotely, which allows them to avoid a lot of the annoyances and inconveniences of submitting their photo in person.
I think that whenever we talk to people, especially in the security industry, people who don't necessarily understand ID issuance and the processes behind it, there's this sense that issuing a badge is this arduous or like really drawn out process. And in a lot of ways it can be. And there's a lot of older antiquated systems where it is kind of a frustrating process, but solutions like yours and ours, and especially those combined together, I think can really help streamline that. And I'm excited to kind of talk today about ways that you've been able to help organizations really streamline their ID process. So why don't you kind of dive in and tell us a story about a cool customer account?
Asabsolutely. Yeah, so one of the stories I want to highlight is a big healthcare facility that we were able to work with and streamline some of their operations with Badge Pass. And a little bit of background, they had 17 facilities inpatient. They had 500 outpatient facilities. They had about 60,000 people that they needed to get new photos for, and tons who hadn't submitted a new photo in 25 years. So that's kind of the situation that both Badge and Remote Photo entered into. And one of the main challenges that they were experiencing was a bad employee experience, right? This is some of the inefficiencies that you were talking about earlier, Lindsay. They had employees who were driving sometimes up to 3 hours to submit a photo for their badge. And that's just a horrible introduction to the organization. And then secondly, just an inefficient badge issuance process. They had varying, from the photo side of things, they had varying standards when it came to quality and continuity of the photos. And then most interestingly to me is they were trying to reduce the time between offer accepted and first day on the job. So but between those two things, there was weeks of time that was happening. And a big part of that was being able to deliver a badge quickly and efficiently. And what they actually had employees who were taking other jobs because it was taking so long to get onboarded. So it's amazing when you start to think about some of the value that a seamless delivery of the badge can bring to an organization.
That's so crazy to me. I mean, especially now when it's so difficult to hire, you definitely don't want people leaving because it's difficult to get an ID badge in their hand. So I think that's great how we were able to solve that problem and make it so much more streamlined for them.
Yeah, that was the most, when we were doing discovery, that was the most wild thing that I heard. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And those gaps, those challenges that the customer experiences, that's where we can step in and help deliver a great solution.
I think what's cool about that particular account too is often when you think about issuance of large volumes of badges or the need to capture photos for multiple cardholders at one time, people tend to pigeonhole that into like the college and university market just because there's a lot of people in a college or university environment, tens of thousands every year getting new badges issued. But I mean, this is a healthcare organization and there's tons of large hospital systems and even large corporations that could really benefit from having just a better ID issuance experience and not making it so multi-step or arduous for the cardholder and the facility itself.
Absolutely. And I think in higher ed, they may have latched onto this type of remote photo capture solution more quickly because their customer is the student. And so they want them to have this great experience when they first step foot on campus. They want them to be able to access everything quickly and not spend their first day standing in line getting a badge. Whereas the healthcare security industry, they're more focused on the security of the badge, less about the employee experience. But I see that shift changing where it is, that employee experience is really becoming more paramount and important.
Absolutely. I think the more you can streamline that and make the issuance process amazing and feel good, the better it is for everybody. And I mean, I've talked about this before on this. There's still so much like nostalgia that comes along with getting your ID badge issued to you when you come work at an organization. Like, how often do you see people post the picture of their badge on LinkedIn or whatever anytime they get a new job? It's part of the cool thing about going to work at a new place, and so making it easy is a great first step for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you, Lindsay, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a question as a guest, but I wanted to ask you, what was your, biggest takeaway from working with this client? I don't know how involved you were, but maybe from afar, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
So to me, what was neat about that account, and obviously that was an opportunity for us to work with you guys, was they had two challenges. Some of the ones you talked about were on like onboarding after the fact, but one of their biggest ones was that they were doing a rebadge of everybody all at once. And so like you said, they had all these old photos, and then they also had to migrate to a more secure card from a technology perspective and ensure that they could issue 60 or 65,000, I can't remember exactly, badges to people in a really quick time period. Because you don't want people with the legacy technology and the new technology and different badge designs. You want to make it as seamless as possible. And they had anticipated that rebadge process was going to take them something like 3 or 4 months minimum. And we were able to do it for them in less than 3 weeks. And so I think that just being able to solve all of those problems with two very simple solutions, and just kind of approach it as a holistic, all right, how can we immediately solve this problem, but also fix your future problems and make onboarding so much easier for your employees, was really cool to me.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, our first call with them, they were exasperated. They're like, how are we going to do this? This is so many badges that we got to produce, and we're trying to do it in a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And so, I agree. I think delivering that solution in a 3-week time period was huge.
Well, I'm excited about what you guys are doing over there at CloudCard, and I'm really excited to see you guys step out into other verticals outside of college and university like this, because I think everybody can really benefit from a great ID issuance process. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Lindsay. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it. Well, we hope you join us next time as we take you beyond the badge.